Okay. Oops, sorry. I have my notes here. So my topic is going to be on the concept of competitive advantage. What is competitive advantage? Competitive advantage is when a company has a product or service that allows them to outperform its competitors. Usually, if a company has a competitive advantage, it is almost impossible to duplicate or imitate, which is exactly the point. Competitive advantage competitive advantage is basically something another business has, and it's basically something that's better, and it just has qualities that allow it to be hard to compete with, which is the purpose of competitive advantage. Some examples found on competitivefinanceinstitute.com are having access to certain resources that your competitors do not, access to new or proprietary technology that have the ability to make, and then also having the ability to make products at a lower cost, and the most common, branding. A company should have at least one or two advantages to successfully compete in its own industry. Apple Incorporated Apple Incorporation is the greatest example to give a good and clear understanding to what competitive advantage is. Apple has one of the greatest competitive advantage, which is simply being different and unique. Apple has brand strength, innovative products, and premium pricing. Going up against a company like this would be the hardest thing to do. Why? Because there is nothing out there nor nothing that you can make or manufacture to be better or similar to Apple. Their products can't or shouldn't be compared to anything else, especially not to Samsung, which people tend to do a lot. Most people have Apple products, such as myself, and they are loyal consumers by default. So, with that being said, Apple has a differential competitive advantage, which is the type of competitive advantage that I will speak about later. Now, moving on to types of competitive advantage. There are two major types of competitive advantage, and also there's a smaller portion of it that's not as important, but it's still important. They are cost advantage, differential advantage, and focus strategy. Let's start with cost advantage. In an article by Gulzar Ahmed posted on April 14, 2014 on studylecturenotes.com, cost competitive advantage is when a company is able to provide products, services, or goods to customers for less than the competitor's price. A well-known company that has cost competitive advantage would be Walmart. As a loyal and frequent Walmart shopper, I know that 9 times out of 10, Walmart usually has the lowest and the best price. Lowest and best price for any products that you or I may need. Being a college student, Walmart is usually my go-to or only stop that I make when I'm going to buy snacks, school supplies, or dorm room accessories. Even a job. They may not have all the super stylish items that you might find at, say, Target, or maybe even Ross, when you find people shop there for clothes as well. And Walmart has their own clothes line, but may not find things like that are that are at a high end quality kind of texture or things like that, but you can find something similar for a lower price, especially with snacks and school supplies and dorm room accessories. Walmart usually has the price point that gets the job done, which is why they are the best example for a cost competitive advantage. The next competitive type of competitive advantage is that I would like to talk about is differentiation competitive advantage. Differentiation competitive advantage can be achieved when a company provides products that customers, products that customers perceive in a higher value than competitors' products, and such companies are able to charge a premium or higher price, says Gulzar Ahmed in his April 2014 StudyLectureNotes.com article. In simpler terms, it is basically when a product is seen in higher regard compared to all of the rest of the products. Again, back to Apple. You look at Apple and you're like, okay, I need that product. That's the product I want. Just because of the hype. And most celebrities have Apple products. I'm using an Apple phone right now. Mainly because of the hype. Not because of any other thing. Just simply because of branding. Their name is out there. And that's usually what people want. They want what everybody else has. So, although the product service are good, may cost more, hence the iPhone costs about $1,000. Although the product may cost more, customers purchase it still because they know it is of good quality. Take Christian Louboutin, for instance. They are believed to be one of the top 3 women's shoes, according to Ranker.com, in a poll voted on by everyday women like myself and all the other people in the world who may have voted on it, but it was mostly women. There is not one woman in this world who wouldn't die for a pair of Louboutin shoes. Why? Because this company has a unique product that no matter the cost is the most wanted shoe, which gives the company its differential competitive advantage. My last point or type of competitive advantage is going to be the focus strategy, also known as the target market. Before you go into business, you think of what your focus is going to be on. Who are going to be your customers? What do they need? How can you get it to them? What kind of product should I put out there that will be of use to you or whoever else my customer or my target market is? With that information, you must figure out how my product or your product or service can make their lives better or even easier. Now, according to the University of Cambridge, in its post about Porter's generic competitive strategies or ways of competing, focus rests on the choice of a narrow competitive scope within the industry. Michael E. Porter goes on to say in his book Competitive Advantage in 1985 that focus has 2 variants: cost focus and differentiation focus. In cost focus, a firm seeks a cost advantage in its target segment, while in differentiation focus, a firm seeks differentiation in its target markets. Cost focus exploits differences in cost behavior in some segments, and differentiation focus exploits the special needs of buyers in certain segments. Now, the importance of a competitive advantage is that it distinguishes a company from the rest. In today's society, a new business will find it hard to survive without this crucial piece of the puzzle. Since there are things like brand loyalty, depending on the industry that can be your biggest heartbreaker. The ambition of any business should be to obtain a competitive advantage and maintain it, because that will be the defining factor of your business's lifespan. An article shared by Manoj Sharma called "Significance of Competitive Advantage" on an article called Your Library on a website called yourarticlelibrary.com states that competitive advantage is important because it is the antidote for competitors' superiority. It gets you long-term marketing success, and it also makes the unit remain competitive evergreen. An organization needs to be consistent and stick to the competitive strategy because it is always needed. Competitive advantage is usually used to discredit the competition, so it has to withstand even the strongest storms. The strategy is essential for a company in a very competitive and saturated industry. People will always have alternatives at the end of the day, which is why having your own competitive advantage or your own advantage be so strong will make it seem like there is no other alternative. Having your own competitive advantage will allow you to move forward in your market or in your industry. And that is why competitive advantage is one of the more important things to have when you're running a business. Thank you. My name is Alexis Burrell. Have a good day.